We will do this scene in this very first chapter, to prove that Blender is a simple and powerful 3D program for everyone. You don't need any prior knowledge or experience in Blender to make this awesome scene. Just follow along, you will learn it, you can do it, everyone can do it. Let's get started. When you open Blender for the first time, you will always see this splash screen. Don't think too much. Just click anywhere around it to skip it. Anyway, you can bring it back again. Just click on the Blender icon here, then select Splash Screen. Now, this is the default Blender scene. There are always 3 objects here. One is a cube. Next is the light and the camera. Don't think too much. Just press A on your keyboard to select all objects. Then press X or Del to delete them all. Now, add a sphere to the scene. Go to the menu. Add. Mesh. UV sphere. The fun starts here, but you might be wondering how to navigate the viewport. Very simple. In order to zoom in or zoom out, just scroll the middle mouse up or down. To rotate the viewport, just press and hold the middle mouse and drag it around. To pan, hold down the Shift key and drag the middle mouse around. Very easy. Just try it for a while and you'll get used to it. Actually, you can use all of these icons as well. For example, you can click and drag this hand icon to pan. Click and drag this magnifying glass to zoom. And click and drag this axis icon to rotate the viewport around. Yes, you got the idea. Don't think too much. Just use what you like. Now, click the little green circle with a -Y to go to the front view. You can check it right here. Click to select this Move tool. Click to select the sphere. Hold down the Control and drag the blue axis up until the sphere sits on the red line. By holding down the Control button, you temporarily enable snapping. Allows you to move objects with precision. Very nice. Now, right-click the sphere and select Shade Smooth. Yes, it looks smooth now. But, if you look closely, you will find that the edges around it are still square. This is because enabling the smoothing feature doesn't actually modify the shape of the object, it changes the way the shading is calculated on the surface. Creates the illusion of a smooth surface, in order to make the surface real smooth at the geometric level itself. We need to add a subdivision surface modifier to it. Click the small wrench icon here. Click on Add Modifier and then select Subdivision Surface from the list. Change the level's viewport value to 2. Done. You are doing great now. Next, we will duplicate 3 more spheres. And it's very easy to do. First, click the Move tool. Then click to select the sphere. Right-click and select Duplicate Object. The new sphere will follow our cursor. Here, right-click to send the sphere back to the source. Then use the Move tool, click and drag the red axis to move the spheres next to each other. Yes, you've got the idea. Try doing the rest yourself. Keep in mind that if you do something wrong, you can undo everything with a keyboard shortcut, Ctrl-Z, or redo by Shift-Ctrl-Z. Now, add a plane to the scene to use it as a floor. Make it bigger by holding S on the keyboard and dragging the mouse to scale it up. Yes. Something like that. Next, we'll put material to each sphere. To do so, click to select one of the spheres. Click the material property icon here. Click New. Yes, we now have a material named Material.001 and we have already assigned it to the sphere. But in order to see it in the viewport with the correct colors, lighting and shadows, we need to go into real-world mode. And in Blender we use the cycle rendering engine to render the real world. The good news is that cycle works great with GPUs. So if you have a good GPU it will be great. The bad news is that Blender doesn't automatically select a GPU for us. We have to choose it manually. And it's here. Edit. Preferences. System. Then click to select the tab that already has your GPU and check its name. That's it. Now, click on Render Properties icon. Click and select Cycle. Click and select GPU Compute. Now, you won't see any results because our viewport is now in simple solid mode. Let's switch to render mode. It's right here. Just click it. Yes. Now, it's real. It's dark because our scene has no lights. And our world is just a neutral gray scene. So, we won't use the light and the world of this scene. But we will use the built-in light source provided by Blender for our convenience. And it's very simple. Just click here and clear all checks out. And then, wow! Welcome to the real world. Now, to make navigation of the viewport faster and smoother, we need to set some values of the cycle engine first. Here it is. Sampling. Viewport. Set max sample to 32. Check denoise, then change start sample to 2. Let's see. Okay. It works great. Now, for the second sphere we're going to make it metal. Let's do it. Click to select the second sphere. Material Properties. New. You can use the mouse wheel to scroll the list. Then click and drag the mouse to change the metallic value to 1. Change the roughness value to 0. That's all for the second sphere. Click to select the third sphere. New. Click and change the base color to whatever color you like. Change the roughness value to 0. That's all for the third sphere. The last one. We'll give it a glass material. Click to select the fourth sphere. New. Click base color and change the value to 1. Change the roughness value to 0. Change the transmission value to 1. That's all for the fourth sphere. Now, let's make materials for the plane. Click to select the plane. New. Click on the little dot next to the base color and then select Checker Texture. Change the scale value to whatever you like. It's real-time in the viewport. How cool is that? After that, change the color one to dark gray. Next, before we add a camera to the scene, let's arrange these spheres to look a little bit better. Go to the front view. This can be done by clicking the green -y-axis icon as before. Or you can use commands from the menu. Here. View. Viewpoint. Front. You can also use the hotkey one on the numpad as well. Don't think too much, just use what you like. Now, use the Move tool to rearrange these spheres. To something like this. There are some settings that need to be done to make navigating the viewport a lot easier. So let's do it. Edit. Preferences. Navigation. Check the orbit around selection. Depth. And zoom to mouse position. Done. Close the Preferences window. Now, we will add the camera to the scene and align it to the current view. Here. Add. Camera. Then. View. Align view. Align active camera to view. Yes. You are now in camera view. You can click this camera icon to enter or exit camera view like this. In order to adjust the camera view as you would navigate the viewport, you must lock the camera to the viewport. So let's do it. Press N on the keyboard to open the sidebar on the right. Click the View tab. Check Camera to view. Press N again to close the sidebar. You can now navigate camera view just like a normal viewport. Very simple. Very powerful. Next, change the size of the camera frame to something that fits the size of the objects in the scene. Here. Output Properties. In the Format category, change Resolution X to 1920 and Resolution Y to 800. Try checking these two options as well. And see the results with your own eyes. Very nice, isn't it? Maybe the resolution Y around 650 would be better. Yes. Move it into place. Click to select the plane, hold S key and drag to scale it up. OK. This should be enough for me. Now we don't want to navigate the camera view anymore. So, we'll unlock it from the viewport. Again. Press the N key to bring up the sidebar, then uncheck Camera to view. In Blender, when we rotate from any view, it will always automatically return to perspective view. This will annoy you at first. But when you use it often, you'll love it. And don't forget that you can always access the camera view just by clicking on the camera icon. You can play around with the lighting, switch to a different HDRI. See how different environments produce images with different moods, lights, and shadows. Feel free to change things as you like. Have fun. Congratulations! You've learned so much from just watching the first chapter. But if you still feel overwhelmed with the seemingly complicated UI, don't worry. That's normal. In the next chapter, I guarantee that within just a few minutes, you will be able to understand it completely in a way that you could never have imagined. So, what are you waiting for? Click on the second chapter now. The Heart of Blender.